Hello and welcome to the Finnish forests once again. If you are new here, my name is Herta, and after living in a Central European city, this is going to be already our third autumn and winter here in the Finnish countryside. Those two lifestyles differ a lot. Because if you are living in an apartment house in the middle of a city, you really don't have to do many things before the winter comes. Only look if the clothes and shoes are still good and so on, but that's about it. Compared to here, there are so many things which you just have to get done before the winter comes. And especially with harvesting stuff and so on, preserving them, you have to do them because otherwise you don't have them. So in this video I'm going to show you a bit with what things we have been busy lately. We will be busy also the next couple of weeks with some quite big things, but those didn't obviously fit in this video. But if you want to see more this kind of things which we are doing here, then write me a comment, then I will know it. Yeah, however, last time I told you that the temperatures suddenly sank down to plus 3 degrees Celsius, and I was quite afraid of our garden, if all the stuff is going to grow enough and if we are going to get all the things which I was planning to still get more. But then it suddenly got so warm, and now it has been so beautiful and so warm. Yesterday I think was 23 degrees or so. So really, this early autumn, let's say early autumn, because it's not the summer anymore. Yeah, however, it has been really nice. And the garden is also looking very good, because only like 1 week of this kind of warmth, and the nights have been also a bit warmer, so it just helps so much. So we are currently living a very happy but very busy life. But like I said, now let's go to look a bit with what kind of things we have been so busy. August is seen as a real harvest month in Finland, and so it is also here on our small homestead. We start, of course, already in June, but in August the things start to get like really wild. And today we are going to start with the cucumbers. He wants to taste that good anymore, so I'll give it to the chickens. Let's see. And then you need some leaves from the ribs. And here I'm cooking the soup for the cucumbers. There is water, vinegar, clove seeds, sugar and salt. And in the glasses for the cucumbers there is already the ripe leaves, dill and whole pepper and mustard seeds. And once the soup is boiling, then we just pour it into the glasses where the cucumbers are. And after that we just close the lids and put them into the fridge for a short period, and then we move them into the cellar.
And what we are also preserving are the apples. Fresh apples from the trees. Unfortunately, our apple trees are still too small. Here was only one apple tree as we moved in here, and the other ones are still growing. Luckily, we know people who have way too many apples and are allowed to pick some up. And we just came with, I think, 5 kilos or so. And now I'm going to cut them in pieces and put into the freezer, because then in the winter time it's really nice just to pick a bag from the freezer and cook it as apple puree, or put it into a cake or so. It's like with many things in the autumn that if you just preserve them and put it in the glasses or freezer or whatsoever, then you can have a piece of summer in the winter time during the darkest days, and it's just really nice.
And what I said already in the last video, it's the sea buckthorn season again. And we are not collecting them only for us, we are also selling them. And I just got a message because someone was coming to buy 5 liters, and now she asked if she could have 7 liters. So let's see if I managed to get them before she comes. These bushes, trees, I say it, were here already as we moved in here. No, and if you don't know it, it's a sea buckthorn is a Nordic berry, this kind of orange. And they grow very well here in these Arctic Nordic conditions. And that's why it's a very popular berry here, and it doesn't need that much to grow well. And they are the most healthiest berries existing. Oh, one of the most healthiest. Of course, other berries have other stuff and so on, but they are very healthy. But they are also quite sour. But I love it. I love them. They are so delicious. I put them always in the winter in my porridge in the morning, so that I can stay very healthy. And last year, one woman bought 5 liters, and she said that the whole family is taking them straight from the freezer and eating it like candies. So first liter done, but here are so many mosquitoes that luckily Stefan got me some of the highest branches, and I will go somewhere else because it's not nice to collect them here. And today's program is to empty the sheep stable, which you usually do twice a year. Franz. Because there is this mattress under. I don't know if people are using it also in the USA, Canada or so. If there's someone listening to this, please tell me in the comments. However, yeah, so there is this mattress with where everything is just going, and then we put new hay and so that it's not wet, and then it starts its chemical reaction, and then it stays warm. So in the winter time, when it's like minus 30 degrees, it's still warm in the sheep stable, which is very nice because the sheep don't need that warm, so they don't need any heating. You can also have sheep also in that kind of barn where that doesn't have to be like brick walls and so on. They can't handle wind, and of course when they have babies, the babies need it a bit warmer. But then you can also use heat lamps if it's getting really cold. So it has obviously very good things in it. That's why we are driving it to the field where the potatoes and other stuff is growing. So finally, we were all working here very hard, all four of us, but it still took us 6 hours. Because it was just done very much, because we also have 9 sheep now. So it was a very hard job, but at least now it's finally done, and now there is a peace for the next months. And now it's going to dry a bit before we then put a new litter and pick the sheep up. That's why it has to be done in one day, obviously, because the sheep can't be outside because of the wolves. So now we are happy that we managed to do it. And what I also want to try is if I can get these windows clean up. I'm not sure when was the last time somebody was cleaning them. 20, 30, 40 years ago? Let's see. On the bottom you need something for the moisture, for the pea and so on. We took sawdust again, and then I have this old hay here. I hope the sheep usually don't eat old hay, which they have been breeding on. That's why I think this is good here. And then this here is then put new hay every day. That's why it's always growing, and that's why it's so big and so big. The little mattress. But it's also, like I said, it keeps them warm in the winter. That's why it's very practical. I'm curious to see what the sheep are saying to their new fresh house here. That's why I'm letting the camera roll on. Let's see when they are coming. And they will also get new lights because the old lights got broken. Because the sheep are a bit afraid of darkness. That's why they need some lights in the night so that they can feel safe and don't have that much stress. Then one very important autumn task, which I show you I think every time, but it is essential, namely making sure that you have enough heating stuff for your house, whatever it is. We heat with oil and with wood. The problem is that you never know how the winter is going to be. Usually there are some cold waves where the temperature drops down to less than minus 30 degrees Celsius. But for example, last year, I think the coldest day was only minus 24 degrees or so. So last winter was very warm and very short and very weird. However, it is better to be prepared for those very cold times, because it's just nice that you can keep your house warm. So now we have 25 cubic meters of firewood, We don't know if it's enough. Let's see. Luckily, we have people very near to us who can then bring us more wood if needed, because we don't have that much. We don't have any own forest. And now all this wood is going to the woodshed, and then we are more prepared again for those cold times. So I hope you like this video, and like I said, the next weeks will be busy weeks. For example, with our sheep, because yeah, we have 9 sheep, but we will not be having all of them over the winter. Like with our roosters, there are way too many roosters in the gang, so stuff like that. And there are still very many lingonberries in the forest waiting to get collected. We have to keep on preserving and harvesting and so on. But yeah, it didn't fit to this video anymore. But I think it was already long enough. Was it too long? Maybe? I don't know. So I wish everyone a nice weekend, and we will see you next time again. Bye bye.